A student who's just starting out on their instrument, I don't think needs to really be looking for hitting any sort of benchmark for how many hours or minutes they need to be practicing every day. I think the most important thing for a young beginner is to make practice a habit.
So research tells us it's much better to practice over a number of shorter sessions throughout the week.
Whether it's for 5 minutes or 50 minutes, whatever you've got, you have to put your hands on the instrument every single day. That's important.
From my experience, students that might have a 1 or 2 hour rehearsal during the day or their hour lesson at school, maybe they don't have to practice that evening and then maybe launch into the practice for the next day. Again, it's a really individual thing. We need to look at the stamina of the child, whether their energy levels, whether their lips, their mouth, their hands, their back, the whole physicality of playing a musical instrument, because it really is a whole body experience to play a musical instrument.
Players early on in their development might not even be really aware of the quality of the sound they're making. Your ears develop along with your technique. And so, an adult who has a much more astute sense of what is a pleasant sound and not so much might hear things that the student doesn't. And if they react negatively to it, it can be quite discouraging.
Beginner instrument and beginner students can make a range of really interesting and strange sounds. So it's important as a parent and family members to really support the younger child with their music and with their practice. And whether they're making some really beginner sounds or some sounds that really does that instrument make that sound, it's really important to encourage the students say, wow, I can hear you're making a sound. Well done for making that sound.
One of my kids practiced out in his garage, out in the back. His dad set it up for him. Got a very supportive family. I think it's healthy for the family and it's good for him because he doesn't feel self-conscious practicing in front of his siblings that might be ribbing him about what he's doing. It's about making it work in the environment you're in.
For some parents, they like to be 100% focused and supervising the student directly.
Regardless of what blats and bleats you're hearing out of the instrument, coming in with a huge smile and, giving them a pat on the back is important.
Rather than giving them direct feedback on the sound or the product that the student is making, we want to really reward and give feedback for the effort and the persistence that the child is doing in there.
The parent who's most supportive never really reacts negatively to mistakes.
Yes, you need to supervise your kid no matter what they're doing, but I think if you're bugging them every 5 minutes saying, you're doing it, are you practicing, then that might make them feel like they have to do it, and you don't want to have that environment. You want them to be enjoying the experience.
So one thing I always recommend to parents is to say, I love to watch you play. That means so much to a child. They may not say it to your face, but deep down, they really want you at that concert.
Knowing that your own mistakes are happening in this sort of safe environment where you're not really being judged is empowering because you need to make those mistakes actually to improve.
I think it's important for choosing the right instrument that you go to a reputable retailer, that you try the instrument out first, that you go to your teacher and see which brands that they recommend that have lasted the test of time. I would not recommend purchasing an instrument from a supermarket. Go to a music shop that really supports great brands.
You've got to try out a lot of different gear because what you might think from looking at the picture of one of your rock heroes in a magazine, I want to use this kind of guitar because this person did, that might not be what suits you.
Having a teacher there with you or having a teacher's input prior to doing the shopping is important. You might go buy a fabulous Ferrari and it might be the nicest car you've ever driven, but if it's to be used for off-roading, you've got the wrong equipment.
So I think it's really important that parents and families develop that relationship with their local retailer for musical instruments, but not only just to try out the instruments, because rather than buying online, going into a retail shop, you can actually try the instrument out, try out the accessories, and a lot of the music staff will give you a mini lesson and some help to choose the right instrument for you. Then ongoing, you have that relationship for buying reeds, valve oils, strings, tuners, all of those accessories, and you've already got that fantastic relationship with the retailer.
Over the course of your studies, particularly as a student gets more serious, there's an immense number of accessories, tools, ways of having technology in the practice room to help you achieve your goals in a more efficient and quicker manner.
In my studio space, I have little Tupperware containers full of accessories. I need a metronome. I need capos. I need a variety of plectrums. I need a whole bunch of different stuff. I have a cleaning cloth. I have lemon oil. I have this stuff within reach. I have a tuning fork. Now, you won't need them on day one, perhaps, but as you are growing through your learning experience, you'll find that you'll want to mess around with the capo and play in a different position. You'll find that a metronome is an excellent thing to have to help you practice. And your teacher will be saying to you, you need to practice these scales with a metronome. Get your picking technique correct, up and down strokes in time. It's important stuff.
My recommendation is to go to your instrument teacher to see what accessories you need for your instrument. For all musical instruments, you probably do need a great fold-up music stand that you can have the music at eye level, so it's really ergonomic and safe for the child to use. In terms of other accessories like electronic tuners, metronomes, there's some great apps you can get now for your phones or different devices that do that, or you can buy standalone accessories as well. And they're great little gifts for practicing well, or for birthdays or other special occasions as well.
How often an instrument should be serviced really depends on how diligent you've been in taking care of it.
Piano, drum kit, guitar, woodwind, brass, the whole works. We all need to have our instruments maintained. And whether that's every 6 months, every 12 months, or when different situations arise.
All musical instruments are crafted by people who really know how they work intimately, both from the mechanics of it and the musical aspect of it. And it's common for a small, perhaps not very problematic issue to arise and have it go really badly from a well-intentioned parent trying to resolve it. The classic case for trumpet players is a stuck valve or a stuck valve cap. Trying to oil your valve cap is stuck, can't unscrew it, parent takes out the pliers to unscrew it, warps the metal, and suddenly what would have been a very, very simple fix costs quite a lot of money, or perhaps isn't even repairable.
I think the first port of call for instrument maintenance is to go to your teacher. They themselves will have their preferred instrument repairers and services, and they can also refer you on to other ones as well.
I recommend sticking with the official information that comes from instrument manufacturers and from music shops. The most important thing when a parent isn't a musician themselves is really just being interested in the student's experience, having an interest in what their child is doing, being supportive, attending their concerts, a word of encouragement when they hear them practice. These types of things go a long way.
So I think it's paramount that parents can attend the musical concerts of their children. Whether it's one parent and one parent's here and there, we understand that they can't 100% attend every concert. But for the students to know that they have someone there in the audience, or it's being videoed, or there's some sort of feedback on the performance is really, really important to the child.
Music and sport are interestingly quite similar in a lot of ways. Research has shown that a lot of the benefits one gets from studying both sport and music are similar. So the discipline somebody needs to have to study music is immense. You have to sit in a room by yourself, you have to remain focused for a while, you have to work on a task that's both physically and intellectually demanding for an artistic outcome, right? So this is engaging the brain in many different ways. And then ultimately what you do is you perform with other people. So it has this wonderful social aspect to it that is really the thing that draws people to music in the first place.
You really do need to learn how to communicate, non-verbal communication in a group. You really need to get your ears going.
But at the outset, really the key I think students need to have is an instrument and some fun.
So I'd like to say to all parents and students, congratulations. You're about to embark on a wonderful time in music, and I wish you all the luck, persistence, and great time in music. Thank you.